Hello to all my fans and friends, I'm the Pyjama Critic, and since it's a surefire way to let the world know I'm still alive and still relevant, I'm here at the Slumber Lounge talking about movies. I'm sure we can all agree that in recent decades the internet has transformed lives and had the most significant impact in history on all of civilization throughout the world. People all over the world are connected. Almost anybody the world over can access more information and entertainment than ever before. The majority of people in my country have the world's largest encyclopedia in their pocket. And of course, anybody at any time with just one click, tap or swipe can watch videos of cats flushing toilets for hours. This of course all comes with its fair share of downsides. More ways to communicate means more avenues for potential abuse. Being able to access services remotely for convenience means criminals have the same access for unscrupulous purposes. On the whole, this is the price we are willing to pay for the freedoms and broadened horizons modern technology has to offer. However, when something new is afoot, it's all too easy for critics to see all the negatives and ignore the positives. This was happening in the 90s, where internet use among the general public was in its infancy, and the world of film and literature was keen to capitalise on this fear, playing on the public paranoia about this new technological behemoth. This movie is one of the many on that subject from this time period, so join me as we take far too close a look at the net.
Well, thanks for the information, I appreciate it.
Released in 1995, directed by Irving Winkler and starring Sandra Bullock and Dennis Miller, the film tells the story of a reclusive programmer who runs afoul of a sophisticated cybercriminal gang. Her identity erased and framed for a string of fake crimes, she must evade the authorities while using her own IT expertise to clear her name, literally, and exact some justice on an invisible force. First we meet Michael Bergstrom, played by Ken Howard. He's a senator, but don't get too attached to him as he gets some bad news on the phone.
So this really is reality.
Takes a walk in the park where we see him talking to his kids and... shortest character arc ever. Over to a quiet suburban neighbourhood, home to Angela Bennett, played by Sandra Bullock. Here we see right away we're in the home of a tech expert. She has a programming PC running one program while she plays Wolfenstein on the Mac. She's not doing this for fun, of course. No, she's a debugger. She finds and removes viruses and is extremely good at it, using her technical skills of typing code and clicking on programs.
Well, you have been virus, Mr. DePina, and not so very nice one.
You're the best.
Even in 1995, at the age of 14, I knew that's not how viruses work. We are told all the important details about her. She works from home for a generic computer business, she doesn't mix with people in the outside world if she can help it, and is so in love with the computer she just does everything remotely. She also apparently likes pizza with garlic and anchovies. 20-inch? Look, I know she's not twiggy. In fact, one of the most admirable things about Sandra Bullock is she's a normal, healthy body shape and is happy with it. But still, she looks like she could slip into a pair of 32-inch waist jeans and zip them closed. Not like someone who eats a massive pizza with a cup of M&Ms on the side. Also, it's not that she doesn't have friends, she just does all her socialising online with people who have never seen her.
My sympathies exactly, Angel. Let's have a date and procreate.
Well, not me. 2 days, I'm off on vacation.
Internet chat rooms were a big thing in the days before social media, though they weren't usually animated like that, and most normal internet users wouldn't have been using text-to-speech software, which was in its infancy anyway. They would just read the screen.
You're one of us.
We accept you. We accept her. You're one of us.
One of us.
Yeah, I know.
Next morning and we see the one person for whom Angela is willing to leave her house. Her ageing mother, played by Diane Baker, once a piano teacher, now living in a nursing home with advanced Alzheimer's. She captures the nature of an old lady in this condition quite effectively, and also Sandra Bullock manages to really convey her expression, the polite exhaustion of dealing with a family member who doesn't recognise you.
I don't know if they have phones there, but you can talk to one of the nurses and all.
You must be one of my students.
No, Mom, my name's Angela.
We're once again reminded that movies in the 90s just didn't get the internet, as Angela is choosing her seats not on the airline's reservation sites but on a very generic looking site called the Internet Airline Service, before receiving her latest projects in the mail, apparently a website on a floppy disk.
Mozart's Ghost, the hottest band on the internet!
Cathedral software.
Yeah, I'll have some, please.
It's worth remembering that at this point that most of the audience just weren't internet people. The web was a novelty enjoyed by a few nerds, so when including the internet in the movie it didn't have to make sense because the audience would just accept it. Case in point, this error and discussion about it.
Oh my God.
So, what do you make of all this?
Simple, it's a programming glitch. Just a futz keystroke that sent you to the wrong internet address, that's all.
Throw in a few words like central mainframe and subnet, and the viewers will be left believing they just witnessed an intelligent technical conversation. Suffice to say, there's something dodgy going on with this site, as the link to book concert tickets redirects to some rather official looking pages, and there's a backdoor link that makes the computer go mad. Luckily, her colleague has his own plane, so he can come to her to discuss it. Unluckily, the navigation equipment appears to be tampered with, so causing him to crash and burn.
What happened?
Angela Dale's dead. His plane crashed last night outside LA.
So with that news, off Angela goes to Mexico. After a slight hold up at the airport due to technical issues, seems a lot of hackers are messing with things, and always where Angela goes. We also get some passing exposition about what the phone call was that prompted the politician from earlier to shoot himself.
Blood test taken last week at Bethesda Naval Hospital did in fact reveal that Undersecretary of Defense Mike Bergstrom was infected with the AIDS virus.
One more, I'll probably be able to fly myself to Mexico.
It looks like you won't have to. Enjoy your flight.
How is everything suddenly on time? If they sorted out the computer error and got service back to normal, then all the flights that were supposed to depart in the last hour will still be delayed, and that will have a knock-on effect on all current flights as they clear the backlog. Cut forward to Angela on the beach, looking fabulous. There's a word for people who can live on pizza and M&Ms but still have a bikini body like that, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want my video demonetised. A chance encounter with a fellow tech whiz, and they hit it off so well it appears for a moment this movie is taking a hard right into romantic comedy territory.
We're sitting on the most perfect beach in the world, and all we can think about is where
can I hook up my bottom?
This guy is Jack Devlin, played by Jeremy Northam in his big screen debut, and he is Angela's dream. He understands her so well, her likes, her passions. It's as if he knows everything about Angela already and knows exactly what to say and do to impress her. Angela is mugged, and for the benefit of the 3 people in the audience who hadn't already worked this out, we are shown Jack is part of a scheme to get this disc and target Angela for, well, not everything is made clear at this point.
Pero okay, dame el dinero.
Having got the disc he was after, Jack takes Angela out on his boat where he plans to kill her and dump her in the ocean, but not before getting something out of her for himself. Angela gives us some insight into her relationship history.
No, it was my shrink, actually. I thought I was lonely, and he forgot he was married.
Remember that, it will be on the test later. Jack shows his hand and attempts to rub out Angela, but she foils his plan, discovers her stolen disc and makes her escape. Some critics have said this moment shows Angela is not such a strong-willed and sure-footed character as she's made out to be, because she doesn't throw Jack overboard at this point. To which I say, it is entirely possible to be independent, free-thinking and strong-minded, but just not have it in your nature to deliberately kill somebody, having successfully incapacitated him. Still a narrow escape, but... What is it with Sandra Bullock and not being able to safely control vehicles in movies? She's aware of this. She's mentioned in interviews she considers herself to be a very good driver, but this theme has followed her through her big screen career. The result of all this is Angela wakes up 3 days later in a Mexican hospital where they have little regard for hygiene. The disc was ruined and her handbag was never recovered, so she has sans passport or any form of ID. While the hotel lobby brings more news of hackers, this time infiltrating Wall Street, and more mentions of this major new force in the online security industry, the Gatekeeper program, things really start to take a surprising new turn in the life of Angela Bennett. First, she discovers she has already been checked out of her hotel, so she's lost all her luggage. She then discovers Border Control can find her as an American citizen by her social security number and address, but under a different name, which she has no choice but to go along with if she's going to get home. On arrival, she finds her car missing, and finally, her house is on the market.
Moving men, furniture?
No. I've been in Mexico for over a week now. How could I be in LA selling my house at the same time?
Try it wasn't your house to sell. It's not her, I'm telling you, it's not Angela Bennett.
This is identity theft taken to a new level. Her existence has been erased. Her unsociable lifestyle means she can't find any real-world people to vouch for her, and every attempt to find some evidence of her existence meets the same response. Computer says no. To complicate the matter, the identity she was duped into accepting just to get back across the border is that of a prolific drug addict, thief and prostitute, with her picture and fingerprint now connected to it, so she now has to run from the police as well.
Where's the girl?
Where's my phone? Anybody see my phone?
An attempt to get through to her boss and a rather empty-headed receptionist results in one more discovery.
Thank you. I'll put you through to Miss Bennett.
What? No. I am Angela Bennett. Hello?
Hello, this is Angela Bennett.
You have the wrong person. I don't know what you're talking about.
Angela, we're not offering an option here. Just give us the disc and we'll give you your life back.
I don't understand.
So she's been replaced by a member of this gang that are holding her to ransom for the disc with the website on. Still not sure how this works. Is this a site hidden on the dark web and the disk holds a decoder that's the only way to access it? If it's some sort of super secret hacker thing, then why was it sent to a legitimate cybersecurity company? These questions will never be answered, but we're expected to shrug it off as just some complex techie thing we probably wouldn't understand. Angela remembers the one person from the real world she can ask for help. The therapist who assumed she had an affair, Alan Champion, played by Dennis Miller. True to form for a bearded ex-boyfriend in a drama, he's friendly and helpful while being also dismissive of her plight and kind of a lech.
Go get it, and then I need for you to take me to a hotel room.
Now that's doable.
Alan, just go.
But still he takes Angela to a quiet hotel and offers to do what he can to keep her mum safe while she has a shower, change and clothes and some sleep. Next morning, and Angela uses some leads she salvaged from Jack's purse to do some research on what's happened to her. Using her powers of typing code and clicking on things, she makes some important discoveries. First, that the politician from the beginning didn't have HIV, he was told that's an error due to hackers interfering with his medical records. The same hackers who tampered with LAX and Wall Street, the same gang Jack is working for, who have orchestrated this attack on Angela and are now doing something foreboding with Alan's medical records as well.
And that other matter, Mr. Devlin?
Oh, that's free of charge.
Angela returns to her cyber friends on her chat room, the same chat room that was clearly being watched earlier because Jack quoted exactly what she had written on it. She doesn't seem to think about that or the security of this room, as she doesn't even notice when she meets her friend Cyberbob in a private room that an anonymous extra person is lurking there too. I can understand that goes past pretty quickly and a viewer who wasn't into web chat would miss it, but she's supposed to be a cybersecurity specialist and a really good one from what we saw earlier. Her online friend is familiar with cyber terrorist gangs as doing this, recognising their calling card. They're the Protarians, big name in the cyber underworld with frightening levels of power. Nobody knows exactly who they are in real life, but every time there's been an attack, the targets have been using this new cybersecurity system, the Gatekeeper. Just saying. They're also presumably responsible for crashing this chat, and in doing so they just revealed they're watching. If they had just stalked the chat silently, they would have still got all the information they wanted and known where Angela was going to be, but she would have been none the wiser. For high-end cyber criminals, they really don't think things through. Angela begins putting the pieces together. Seems she was chosen precisely because she could disappear unnoticed and be replaced by a member of the Praetorians at work, so they can have someone on the inside stopping their operation from being compromised.
Angie, I'm with you on this. Really, I am. But first somebody tries to kill you, now this guy Dale.
And they put somebody in my place at Cathedral to get rid of any traces there.
Pretty sure it would have been easier for one of our teams to just get a job at the cybersecurity company. They've all got the skills to be employed there, and if they haven't got the qualifications, they have the means to forge them. Meanwhile, we find out just what they did to Alan's medical records. A few details change, so he's given the wrong medicine, something he's allergic to, then changed the records back, and it ends up looking like a simple oversight from the pharmacist.
I gotta go. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm more worried about you.
Onto the carnival. This persistent annoying mascot was the director's subtle way of venting his frustrations about the Duracell bunny. I get that. We all have that one advert that gets to us more than they should let it. In fact, here's a new segment to my show. My question of the week. What is that one advert, past or present, that grinds your gears? Let me know in the comments below. As we already know, and Angela should have guessed, the Praetorians are one step ahead of her. They have neutralised Cyberbob, sabotaged Alan's hospital treatment, and sent Jack to capture her while providing some exposition and claiming he's been in love with her.
It was difficult, right? Because I was attracted to you. I still am. I'm genuinely attracted to you.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna genuinely attract half the Santa Monica Police Department.
It's about what my employers want. So take a look around you. Do you think things are working? I don't think so. They believe they can make things better.
Thankfully nothing comes of that, and Angela gives him the slip. I don't care what angles you use or what suspenseful music you put over it, a carousel is not a thrilling setting for a chase scene. I am not going to be on the edge of my seat watching somebody evade capture among a bunch of slow-moving painted horses. Angela has been made uncomfortably aware how hopeless her battle is against opponents with the power to kill a man by the click of a mouse.
No.
Shock at 9:25.
No, he was not a diabetic.
I'm afraid
He wasn't diabetic.
No,
he wasn't.
Yes, Windows 95 used to make me feel that way too. The law catches up with Angela and she is taken into custody, where a conversation with her defense attorney allows her to fit the last piece of the puzzle into place.
But the California criminal justice computers, all of them, have been protected by the Gatekeeper security programs for the last 6 months.
It's the Gatekeeper program has a flaw. If they change my identity and it has a flaw, then the Praetorians, they know this.
While this does make logical sense that a cybercriminal gang would use a deliberately thought security system as a means to make their hacks, if a bunch of businesses got hacked and they all used the same security system, then there would be a mass switch to Norton subscriptions before long. And for the security of all my viewers who haven't seen this movie, I should announce a spoiler section. I'm going to talk about the ending of this movie, so if you want to know how it ends, then skip to this time code. Now back to Angela in prison.
Somebody answer the damn phone.
Here she is. Who's come to get me? Can you just... Can you just...
Special Agent Ben Phillips, FBI. Madeleine's friend.
She's unexpectedly bailed out of jail by the FBI agent Alan briefly mentioned earlier. Ben Phillips, played by Robert Gossetti. Of course, having spent the last 90 minutes watching this fantastic, strong, intelligent, resourceful character being built up, I would feel so cheap if some random officer swooped in and sorted everything out for her. So I'm pleased to say he turns out to be a plant from the Praetorians, which Angela works out quickly and goes on the run once again.
As you can see, it's a desperate situation. Essential city services will be conducted through the one local bank unaffected by the glitches, protected by Gregg Systems' aptly named Gatekeeper program.
In related news, Jeff Gregg, billionaire founder of Gregg Systems, was in Washington for today's announcement that the Pentagon will be outfitting the entire federal government with Gregg's touted Gatekeeper program. As the master plan of the Praetorians becomes clear, Angela makes a visit to the head office of her employers, locates her imposter, and empties the office with an impromptu fire drill.
Right here.
This is a fire.
Now.
So the imposter got ushered out of the building, but Angela managed to stay unnoticed by everybody. This allows her to get to the imposter's computer and uncover the truth with her well-established powers of typing code and clicking on things. She confirms the head of the Praetorians is indeed the captain of industry she has been seeing on the news reports, copies all the information onto a floppy disk, and also finds a copy of the virus she fixed earlier. According to movies, viruses were always stored on red disks. Then she runs off to a nearby computer convention. Of course it was conveniently over the road. Conventions are always at the most convenient time and place. That's why they're called conventions. She sends the gathered evidence to the FBI. Even sending an email in this movie involves typing code and clicking on links. Finally, swaps the disk and tricks Jack into using the virus on the Praetorians' mainframe, wiping out the whole system.
God damn it, you're in the mainframe. It's eating through Gregg's entire system, Devlin. Do something.
That is not how viruses work on so many levels I can't even begin to break it down. We finish with a short chase sequence where a suddenly very short-sighted Jack mistakes his colleague for Angela and shoots the imposter, then confronts the real Angela and... Guess I was wrong about her earlier. That sure was easy. Everything is back to normal for Angela. She's spending more time with her mother, Jeff Gregg has been arrested, and somehow when Angela wiped out the mainframe of the Praetorians, it undid everything they had done to her, restored her identity, put her house back in her name, and passed the fake criminal identity onto the imposter. The things you can do with computers now. So that was The Net, and it should come as no surprise that my main issue with this is it is a product of its time in its own niche way. Though the action and drama still hold up, and Sandra Bullock is one of the best performances of her career, there are ways in which this falls short for a modern audience. Today's viewers have grown up surrounded by technology, and the internet is a part of everyday lives of most people, even in ways we're not aware of a lot of the time, and that affects the way this movie is received. Gone are the days when the viewing public could be bamboozled by a barrage of technical jargon, and the many inaccuracies on how things like email, viruses, and the internet itself work have become more noticeable in the last 25 years. It is, however, a testament to how well this movie was made that these drawbacks do not ruin it, as it is still watchable for many other reasons. The suspense is built up extremely well, apart from a brief moment in the second act when the pacing falls back and it drags on a little, but it soon gets right back to form after that. The attempts at shoehorning romance in at certain points break up the flow, but they are so short-lived they can be ignored. The Praetorians are amazingly well-rounded as a formidable force and really feel like a threat to our hero, and we get a great demonstration of the sort of power a group can have if they have access to all sorts of public records. The innovative ways they have of dealing with enemies just by deleting a few details in the system. I also like the way that the head antagonist is hardly seen, just appearing twice on the news reports. A good entertaining cyber drama, held back only slightly by dated graphics and concepts. This comes in at 3.5 slippers. Thank you for watching. Having seen the power of a click and some typing, I hope you'll be able to put that into practice and click on the like button, leave a comment, share this video on your social media platform of choice, and subscribe if you haven't already for new reviews every week. I've been the Pyjama Critic, and remember, if you're worried your computer has a virus, then you'll know once demonic graphics appear on the screen, followed by everything rapidly pixelating into blurs, and whatever you do, stay away from red floppy disks.
Cyberbot figured it out. He knows what he's doing, okay? If I don't go talk to him now, it's gonna be too late.
Listen to you, Cyberbot. You're going to meet a guy named Cyberbot.